What is going on, guys? Welcome. Let me turn this down and switch the scene over here. Let me know if that music is too loud, guys. There we go. What is going on, guys? Well, whoa. Did my camera get moved? I think it did. I must have bumped it or something. All right, what's going on, guys? Sorry for the late start today. I just got back home from work. I'm still wearing the polo that I wear. Usually when I go to Detroit, I wear a Michigan polo. You know, you don't want to ruffle any feathers wearing Vikings gear. What's going on? Man, MJ, you're here like every time, man. Bro, thank you for hanging out and just, you know, supporting, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that shows up every day. You guys really mean the world to me. All right, we'll get into it. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome back to the Purple and Gold Bars Show. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000, aka Mr. Purple and Gold Bars, at your service. You've made it to one of the best places on YouTube for an optimistic, out of the box, not that traditional X and O's outside of the box thinking, helping you try to create a different perspective and maybe battle some of that negativity or those negative narratives that kind of seem to take hold sometimes. All right, guys, we're on the road to 500 subscribers. I'm hoping that we can get to 500 subscribers by the end of the calendar year. So I really do appreciate you guys supporting, tapping in on the regular, and liking and subscribing. It really does mean the world to me. Here we go. Like I said, MJ's been here all the time. Paul's in here. Eric from Newark, New Mexico is in the house. I know it might be a little bit late now or a little bit past, but happy birthday, Raquel. I know you just celebrated a birthday, so thank you so much, guys, for supporting and hanging out with me. But we got our pick'ems to do, and we also have our power rankings. We're going to condense them now because they're not taking as long as they used to be, especially the power rankings, because the later that we go in the season, the power rankings start having less and less movement in there. So hopefully we can condense these and have a nice little show for you guys today. So will without further ado, we're going to get right into it and start with these picks. Last week was a horrible week for me. I only got 4 right. Embarrassing, I know. And yeah, it was rough. There were so many man. I I picked the Broncos. I picked some of the some of the good ones, man. But I was so close to picking the Titans. I was so close to picking the Jaguars. I was so close. Like I even gave the proper analysis to why I should have picked the winning team. But yet I let my heart get the better of me sometimes. And sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes I just kind of trying to will things into existence. But the ones that mattered, the Eagles lost. The Jaguars did well, and the most important, let's go, guys, Cam Ward has arrived. And I said in last week's picks, I was like, I really hope this is the Cam Ward arrival game where he gets his first win. But I ended up still picking the Cardinals. But either way, what an incredible game. But let's start with the Thursday night game. We got the Eagles facing the New York Giants. Now, the Eagles are definitely struggling right now. They haven't been able to put a full 4 quarters in. So it is something to consider here, but they still have a really good roster. I know there's a lot of animosity or maybe even negative stuff going on between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, right? So that's affecting some things. The Giants, it's no secret. I think these guys have a ton of potential. They just haven't gotten to that stage where they're starting to find a little bit consistency. They're just basically just showing flashes. Now, after that bad loss, I hope they don't blow it up and, at the very least, maybe just a coaching change. But, they got so much going for them. But with everything being said, I still can't, as much as I would love to see the Giants come away with the upset here on Thursday night, I just have to bank on the Eagles here to come out extremely upset and wanting to prove a point. And them and the Giants, there's no love lost between them, right? So they're really going to be pushing the envelope and really trying to make a statement here. So I'm going to take the Eagles 27-21. And a little bit more scoring from the New York Giants, but it's going to be a good one. I think the Eagles still end up doing the right things at the end and getting that W. Moving on to Sunday's games, we got the Broncos and the Jets in at 9:30 a.m. So the Broncos are riding high right now after an awesome win against the defending Super Bowl champions. The Jets are still looking for that first win, right? Like, even though the Jets are showing flashes as well. I really like the new upstart Jets. I like what Aaron Glenn is doing over there. I feel like the ball is moving finally in the right direction for these Jets, but they're just so inconsistent. You know, they go from one moment having Justin Fields scramble to one side to completely break a bunch of ankles to run to the opposite side of the field and go in for a touchdown, right? So they have such crazy highlight plays, but they just have zero consistency. And it's no secret that I've said that one of my bold predictions going into this year was that the Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings are going to finish the top 1 and top 2 defenses in the league. I'm not sure which order, but I feel like those two are going to be the top defenses. And their defense continues to show the most consistency. Now, we saw a little bit more flashes from Bo Nix, and a lot of people are Bo leaving, as they say. And so I have to bank on the side of probabilities in this situation because I can't let my heart get the better of me and just hope that the Jets can kind of rally and put enough together to beat these Broncos. That defense is legit, guys. So I'm going to go with the Broncos 24-12. And a nice, solid, decisive win early to start the morning. Then we got, moving on to the 1 o'clock games, we have the LA Rams against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be in, and you know, I picked the Ravens last week. I thought at the very least, let's do it the old Adrian Peterson way. Just feed him a crap ton of times. Derrick Henry, even if he fumbles a couple times, you guys should still be able to kind of maintain that time of possession and kind of grind out an old school football type of game. It did not happen the way I did, even though that's one of those games that I gave all the reasons to why the Texans could win that game, and I just couldn't pull the trigger, and I just had too much faith in Derrick Henry and those Baltimore Ravens. So I think I'm going to be a little bit more realistic this time. The Rams are coming off a bad loss, and they're looking to redeem themselves here. Sean McVay's got some tricks up his sleeve. Their interior pass rush is actually really, really really good, and it can throw a lot of quarterbacks off. And with the backup coming in there with the Ravens, or the Rams going in and facing a backup, I just think that the Rams are going to have a little bit too much more consistency than Cooper Rush and these Ravens will. Although I think it's going to be a much better performance by the Ravens, I still feel like I see the Rams winning something like, I don't know, 34-27, something like that. 34-27 Rams. Give me the Rams. Moving on to the Cowboys versus the Panthers. Panthers was one of the games that I actually got right last week. I was like, oh man, how did I pick that one? That was a shot in the dark, and it actually landed. You know what they say: a broken clock is right twice a day, right? And I definitely got one of those. So that one was fun to see. Now we got the Dallas Cowboys. You know, a lot has been said. I've been dogging on them for being the continuous raging dumpster fire that they are. I'm sorry about that. I got spit down the wrong hole there. But I did say when they went into that Packers game that, like, the one thing that the Cowboys can do is they can get into a shootout with you, and if they can force a boat race, watch out. And you know, the Panthers have had some good defensive outings. They have been playing better as of late. I just think that the inconsistency on the offense is gonna bite them in the butt this week. Even though the Cowboys may not run away with it completely, I think it's gonna feel like they're gonna be able to score more at will, and the Panthers are just gonna be, you know, doing that classic, trying to play from behind, trying to stay in it in hopes of kind of pulling it out at the very end. But even though that's how I see this game going, I still think the Cowboys are going to put a little bit of pressure on here. I see the Cowboys winning a 10-point game. Let's go 31-21. Now, we got the Cardinals facing the Indiana Jones-led Colts. Man, what an incredible story. Man, whatever perspective the KOC gave to Daniel Jones has totally flipped the switch in his head, and he is seeing football in a different way. And I like what I'm seeing from these Indianapolis Colts. I still have a lot of love for Marvin Harrison Jr. I want Kyler Murray to do well. But in this situation, I just don't see how the Colts are going to lose this game. I can foresee a scenario where, Kyler does a lot of scrambling, avoiding a lot of things, and is able to consistently get downfield, put up enough field goals, and Marvin Harrison coming in with a touchdown or two. So I can see the potential, but I just don't see that it's going to be probable against this Colts team. One of my favorite players, Cam Bynum is over there now. He's a beast in the secondary. Their running back, Jonathan Taylor, is incredible, on top of the fact that Daniel Jones has been playing incredible, guys. So I cannot, in good consciousness, pick against the Colts here. So I'm going to go with the Colts in a decisive win, 27-17 against these Cardinals. Moving on to the new upstart teams. The teams that the Mike Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay tree it just keeps giving us fruit that we can just enjoy week to week, right? We got these Seahawks and the Jaguars looking, I'm talking about the Jaguars when it comes to the KOC line there, where their coaching staff, they poached some from us Vikings, right? And their head coach comes from that coaching tree. So I see a lot of familiarities between the games when I see the 49ers, the Rams, our Vikings. It seems very similar. They seem like they're the same style of game. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been having the great statistical year, but he keeps showing up and doing more than enough. Sam Darnold and the Seahawks have been a phenomenal story this year. We all know as Vikings fans how awesome it is to feel having Sam Darnold out there, especially when you have a team to support him. He can do incredible things. I've been also mentioning, like, when I watch these Seahawks, it's like watching the Vikings last year. We still see some of the most laughable or ridiculous misplays or lowlights from Sam Darnold, but sometimes he kind of goes away. But in the second half, when it counts, and he needs a drive, even for at least 3 points, he can put it together. Last week, he wasn't able to do it, and he ended up throwing a pick to finish the game. So this game is going to be a really, really good game. Now, are the Jaguars going to be able to put, the same kind of outing as they did this past Monday, especially on a shorter week, because they did play Monday night, and the Seahawks, are going to have that extra night. So one less practice, I believe, the Jaguars are going to have. But, I think this is going to be a wild one. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that you don't want to miss, guys. An instant classic, if you will. This time, I think Sam Darnold pulls it out, and a walk-off touchdown, I'm going to call. Let's go 35 Seahawks to 31 Jaguars. That's what the supercomputer up here is telling me, and I'm hoping that it is closer this week. So regardless, which way it goes, this is going to be a fantastic game, guys. I love what both of these teams are doing. Next, we got the Chargers that seem to be struggling a little bit. And, some people might want to say that they're regressing to the mean or something like that, but they are suffering some injuries. So that plays a factor, right? Like I've been saying about my Vikings is like, I think we struggle from an execution standpoint. We have so many backups, and sometimes they're not as prepared as they need to be. So, of course, they're not going to execute like the starters do, right? And I think we're seeing a little bit of that. They've lost Austin Eckler. They've lost their Najee Harris is the running back, if I'm not mistaken. So two big pieces on offense are gone. So they're trying to find ways to win and kind of salvage the beginning part of the season, right? And then we got the Dolphins that have been struggling. Although they can do good things, they can put up some points. I think they put up 27 against the Jets, and last week they put up a decent amount of points. I feel like this is going to be a nice bounce back game for the Chargers, though, and Harbaugh's going to be out there to try to, immediately change the narrative, because if they go down 3-3, it's going to be hard for them in general, right? So I think the Chargers are going to come out here, be a little bit more dominant on defense and be a little bit more cohesive on offense. So I think we got a good solid win here, 24-12 for the Chargers. Coming into the next game, we got the Browns versus the Steelers in a divisional matchup here. One of these divisional games, as I've been harping on constantly, is that they're so hard to pick. Each team has so much insight to their tendencies, and they have so much notes that they kind of gather over the year in film, right? So it's always a toss-up sometimes. Me personally, I remember when our Vikings were 1, 2, 3 win games. Sometimes we go in and we steal a game from the Packers or one of the leading teams in the division, and then we just kind of go back. It's just kind of that same notion of even when you're facing a team that's struggling in your own division, they still have the ability to kind of steal one from time to time. Now, the Browns defense is incredible, and Dillon Gabriel did really well last week, even though we could see the inconsistencies, and he did play like a rookie. I go back to that final pass that he threw into the end zone, which he overthrew. I think it was the tight end, which a more veteran quarterback might have put that right in a spot for him to make that touchdown. But that's part of the process. We have to allow our rookies to struggle. We have to allow them to make mistakes, because if not, they're never going to grow into the players that we want them to be. With that being said, the Steelers are coming in here. They're a little bit more polished right now. They're starting to kind of shake off the rust, and they're becoming better. Hopefully maybe this bye week has gotten them fully revitalized and ready to go. I think it's still going to be a close game. I really want to pick the Steelers here. And my intuition is telling me that although Dillon Gabriel did so well last week in comparison to what people were speculating he would do, especially going up against a Brian Flores defense, I feel like this week he's going to struggle a little bit more. Like we saw what Jackson Dart was able to do in his first game, and then he struggled mightily in the second game, right? So development is not linear, right? Sometimes it's difficult for rookies to put multiple games in a row. The outliers are the only ones that do that, right? And I don't see Dillon being an outlier just yet until he's kind of proven it. And if he comes out here and he balls out and he learns better learns from the mistakes that he does, and he puts these Steelers away, I'm going to be a little bit paying more attention to Mr. Dillon Gabriel. But man, it's almost like I want to pick the Browns, but at the same time, what do you guys think? What do you guys think, chat? Oh my goodness. All right. What? Give me. It's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a low-scoring, ugly game. You know what? I'm gonna listen to my heart. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm picking against the probabilities here. Do you really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to go with the Browns in an upset. Oh man. I'm probably going to I'm going to probably regret it. But I don't know what inside me is saying, bro, this might be the trap game for the Steelers. Even though I really want my probabilities and everything, my logical side is telling me it's probably going to be the Steelers, man. But something keeps pulling me back towards the Browns. Yeah, give me the Browns in a surprising game win, 17-10, 17-10 for these Browns. Wow, I can't believe I just made that pick. Wow. I will always give you what's going on, John. Man. Well, I will always give you guys my honest, raw opinion, my honest, raw analysis. And although I really want to pick those Steelers, I'm gonna go with the upset. Browns, 17-10. Nice seeing everybody here. Thank you so much. Yeah, that'd be awesome. On top of that, that would be nice. You know what? And that's not even a motivation. I don't know what it is. I'm feeling like I don't know. My brain is, I think something's like a picture's kind of emerging. It's like the O-line of the Steelers struggling for some reason. I don't know. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the upset. Now, next we got the new look Patriots. Can we? Hey, a little pat on the back, guys. I've been saying that the Patriots and the Giants are going to be the two teams that are going to shock the world. Maybe not going to be reflective in their records, but they're going to put some really nice game togethers against teams that people didn't give them credit to win. We saw that last week with the Giants beating the Chargers, and then we saw the Patriots. No, 2 weeks ago against the Chargers, but then we saw the Patriots beat the Bills, a team that I really wanted to pick the Patriots because I see a lot of potential in them, and I really trust in Mike Vrabel, which is why I said that I feel like he's going to be the coach of the year this year, and it's one of my bold predictions. And now they got a lot of steam going. Drake May looks fantastic, guys. And as much as I like the Saints, and I've been talking up and really giving a lot of credit to Spencer Rattler and what he's done, he's looked like a serviceable, like quality quarterback, not a franchise, not a top tier quarterback, but a guy that can play and where a team that's like in the middle of the pack trying to change things around could really use him for the stability at the position. So I really like him. I really like Alvin Kamara. I've been a big fan of Alvin Kamara, but I cannot pick against these Patriots, not the way that they're looking right now. And that's why I'm going to go with the Patriots, 31-17. Next, we got the Titans. I almost picked the Titans last week, and I said I really would not be surprised if this was the Cam Ward coming out game. I don't know. Some people really disliked the fact that he kind of called his team trash. For me, I'm from a different generation, so I respond to that. I'm from the Michael Jordan era, right? So I like tough as nails, drill sergeant type leaders. That's what I respond the most to. And so when I heard him talk like that, it was like, bro, I think he's got the edge that he needs to be a strong leader, and they just got to put things together. I'm so happy they did, but we got the 1-4 Titans versus the 1-4 Raiders, and you know, another team that I've been hoping for the best for are these Raiders. Like I've been saying, Geno Smith is the one that made me fall in love with the footwork in the pocket from quarterbacks. Because I watched what he did last year in Seattle, I now pay attention to that when I watch football. Sometimes I lose myself in the play just watching how the quarterback handles the pocket, the way that he steps up, the way that he sidesteps, the way that he feels pressure, right? Geno Smith was awesome at it last year. I know that he's in a different situation. I see a lot of potential. I love Alshon Jeffrey. And, you know, it's just not going their way. It's one of those things that just so much has been thrust upon them. It's just so much new. Not everybody can be an outlier and just have all the raw talent just play perfectly. We saw in week one, they put up a lot of numbers. They looked really good. And then we've seen Alshon put up a ton of rushing yards. So I think he's starting to come into his own. I think this is going to be a good game. I think the Titans are going to be feeling a lot of confidence going into this game. I feel like the Raiders are still going to be looking to kind of drag this into like a Raider style game, you know, let's just make it dirty and rough, and if we can do that, we can grind ourselves a win. So I think it's going to be a great game regardless of what their scores, what their records are going into the week. I really can't. Yo, what's going on, Rap? Man, what's going on? Ah, man, this one's a hard one to pick. This one's a really hard one to pick. What's more likely, guys? For Cam Ward and the Titans to continue their upward trajectory, or for the Raiders to kind of put a stop to the negativity? They both seem unlikely to me. But you know what? I really like Travis Hunter. I really like Cam Ward. I'm gonna have to pick with my heart here. I'm gonna pick the Titans. In I can't even guess the score. Oh man, let's go 21-17. A really hard fought win for the Titans and just a really good game. I think it's going to give some hope to both franchises to see them perform much better than they have throughout the season. So give me the Titans 21-17. Moving on to the two teams that have been shocking the world this year. Can we give a big ups to Mac Jones? Did he resurrect his career? Did he expose Brock Purdy? I don't know, guys, but man, these 49ers continue to prove people wrong. I know they had a little bit of that hiccup there against the Jaguars. I feel like that's more of on Robert Saleh, like I was saying that week. Yo, bro, shut the heck up and just prepare your teams. Who cares if they have a legal freaking sign stealing freaking system in play? Be a freaking man. Prepare your guys. And like I've been saying, you don't have to use the same signals every week. You can change them every week. There's no rule in the freaking rule book that says that, oh, once you set your signals on defense and offense, you have to stick with. No, nowhere it says that. So guess what? How about you focus on what you need to do to prepare your team? And they did that in the following week. So that's why they did so well. So maybe Robert Saleh saw that video and kind of took it to heart. And I'm going to take responsibility for that because these 49ers are looking good. But Baker Mayfield, he's, man, ever since that highlight of at the end of that bowl game where he just grabbed his junk and was talking trash to the other team, from that moment on, I fell in love with Baker Mayfield, and I was like, this kid is a winner. He's got that it factor and that urge to try to win at all costs, and that is something that once it gets refined and like it seems like he's been able to do in Tampa Bay, he's going to be a dangerous man, and we saw that last week. Wow, what a game. So it's gonna be a really close game, and it's almost a coin flip. Let's be real. Both these teams are doing really, really well. Both got great production from both sides of the ball. I'm gonna give the advantage to the Buccaneers just because they're playing at home. They have a really good stadium, and they can really pump out the noise. So that slight edge is gonna be enough for them to kind of be in control of the game. Maybe they're not gonna be running away with it, but they're going to be, keeping the 49ers always trying to get back into the game and trying to regain control. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers in a wild one. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Give me the Buccaneers 38. Give me the 49ers 35. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. 38-35 for the Buccaneers. Next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Green Bay against the Green Bay Packers. In my opinion, they've been exposed a little bit, once by the Browns and then by the Cowboys. So I've actually refrained this year from dogging the Packers. I don't like to kick teams when they're down. I only like to kick them I like to punch upwards, for lack of a better way of saying it. And when they're, they got a better record and that's when I like to dog them, especially when they lose. But right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to refrain from the mockery and whatnot. Usually, you guys, if you guys go back to last year, Vikings-Packers weeks, I was wild against those fans. And I was hardcore trash talking. So I was really happy that we won those games. But nonetheless, that brings us back to this week. We got the Bengals coming in, the Joe Flacco-led Bengals coming into the Packers. I saw a funny post. Imagine if the Joe Flacco-led Browns upset the Packers and then the Joe Flacco-led Bengals upset the Packers. Ooh, wouldn't that be tasty and delicious for us Vikings fans? Oh, I know that. Ooh, that would feel so good. Telling you guys, it would look good. But the thing that scares me is not the Packers. It's the offensive coordinator's strategy for the Bengals that scares me. We got basically a statue back there at QB. And the Bengals, I think it's like 83% of the time they're in shotgun. And they just, with such a shoddy O-line, that's the reason why Joe Burrow keeps getting sacked, pressured, and keeps getting injured, right? So what is that going to say for Joe Flacco? Like, just, he's going to be able to get the ball out fast enough? Like, what is the game plan going to be if they're going to be always in shotgun? I'm truthfully, honestly, scared for Mr. Joe Flacco's life here. He might be carted off the field this week. It's gonna, oh man, it's gonna be wild. the Packers do have a decent pass rush, right? Now, let's say all that doesn't come to fruition, all the freaking worst case scenarios don't come in, and it ends up being a balanced team. Who's going to win here? We got, you know, Jordan Love, the so-called faux Super Bowl caliber level quarterback, going against old man Flacco, the guy that continues to turn back the clock. I just don't think the Bengals can do it. I feel like they're going to have a little bit more fire. I feel like they're going to keep the game close. If nothing goes wrong and they're able to keep the ball out, get the ball out of his hands quick, and he doesn't take a lot of sacks or hits, the Bengals might surprise a few people here. But I'm going to pick the Packers here 24-21. It's going to be a lot closer. And man, I would be so happy if the Bengals win this. One, because one of my best friends from back out west, he's a Bengals fan, and he's been suffering the start of the season. So, man, it'd be nice to see him get a win, because it's been rough for him, guys. So let me pick the Packers here 24-21 in a close game. Next, we got the Sunday night game that I think a lot of people going into the season would have been like, oh, this is going to be a heck of a game. And now we're seeing the Lions coming into their own. They're finding their consistency again. We're seeing a lot less mistakes from, having to transition to a new offensive coordinator, a new playbook, and new verbiage and stuff like that. We're seeing more consistency from them. And as a result, they're looking like a very, very strong playoff team. Then we got the Kansas City Chiefs that just lost to Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, the upstart Jaguars that are turning heads this year. But the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They still have Spags. They still have the ability. But I just think this is going to be a little bit too much firepower for them to handle. Because the Chiefs have this tendency of playing similar to us Vikings, where they try to like keep the games close and try to like take over at the right time and score with very little time for their opponents to do anything, or sometimes as time runs out. And I think that's going to be a really, really hard game plan to pull off against these Lions. They're just really, really good on all levels. You can't deny that. Okay, as much of a Lions hater that I am, or not really a hater, a criticizer. Let's say let's bring it down one notch. I am able to be objective with them, and I understand what they are and how good of a team they are. And so as a result, I'm going to go ahead with the Lions here, even though I wish the Chiefs can kind of turn back the clock and come out and look a lot more dominant they have in the past. And I would love to see Patrick Mahomes beat these Lions and kind of, throw another loss towards the Lions. But the probabilities are just too much on the side of the Lions. So I'm going to have to pick the Lions here, 27-17. Moving on to Monday night, we got a doubleheader. We got the Bills coming into Atlanta, facing these Falcons coming off a bye. And we got the Bears coming off a bye, coming into the Red Hot Commanders. Now that Jaden Daniels is back, it's going to be a good game, guys. But let's start with these Buffalo Bills. What can be said about the Buffalo Bills that hasn't already been said? They're a prolific offense, and also they struggle to stop the run, and it was evident. They were able to... A lot of teams, that's the way that a lot of teams try to stay in these games against them. But we got the Falcons that also have a strong running attack in Algier, as well as Robinson, right? Bijan, both incredible backs that can really put a number to these Bills. They're sitting at 2-2 coming off a bye, so they should be fully rested, fully energized. And they're at home, so that advantage is probably going to level out the game, and it's going to make it even harder for the Bills to kind of take over at times. Now the Bills, after that big loss, good teams like that don't like to lose 2 games in a row. So there is that. They come out with a sense of urgency that only top caliber teams like that are able to produce, right? So it's going to be a lot closer than people will give credit. I kind of want to go with the upset here. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, I believe too much in Josh Allen. I really like James Cook. It's no secret if you've watched the channel. I really like Keon Coleman. I think he's a stand-up kid. I think he's an excellent role model for the younger generations. So I love seeing him succeed. I know he's still in that young stages where he's still trying to develop the consistency that he needs. Oh, man. I really want to pick the upset here. I can't let my feelings get the better of me here. Give me the Bills in a surprisingly close game. Uh 17-14. 17-14 for the Bills. A really low scoring game. I'm just gonna not randomly guess. I just might let my brain kind of rationalize it, and that's where I'm gonna go. We're gonna go Bills 17-14. They continue to get back on track here immediately. Last but not least, we got the Chicago Bears going into Washington. Washington Commanders coming off a big win. Marcus Mariota did a great job replacing Jaden Daniels, and it looks like he might be signed by one of these quarterback whisperers. I don't know if it's going to be McVay, it might be Shanahan, it might be KOC. I don't know, because we seem to like to bring in reclamation projects every year. But hopefully, like I found out after hearing from Q Dog last night in that interview, Rosemar's got a lot of upside, and hopefully he becomes our backup and he just puts an end to this circle of bringing in these reclamation projects. Let's stop fixing other quarterbacks and start focusing on our two guys. So hopefully we don't see Marcus Mariota in purple and gold next year, but he might be on the move. And now that Jaden Daniels back, it's going to be a wild game. We remember how that was the Hail Mary finish that the Bears lost, if I'm not mistaken, last year. So the Bears are going to want to come in with some vengeance, coming here trying to redeem themselves after such an embarrassing loss last year. The Bears are coming off a bye week, and they should be well rested and really focused on their game plan and dialed in. It's no secret that I really love Jaden Daniels. I love the way that he plays the game. And even more so, I love the way that he prepares for the game. He is such a student of the game, and he puts in so much work. It's like, it's only Jaden Daniels-esque. Let's be real. It's his version of it. But like the closest I can think of is like Brady in his early years, when he worked so hard to develop into the guy that he became, right? Not the same, different guy, but he's got a similar work ethic. And that's why I love Jaden Daniels. They're at home. The Bears have been struggling a little bit on defense, so I expect a lot of that to be fixed coming in here, even though they're dealing with some injuries and stuff like that. It's going to be a bit, you know what? This is going to be a higher scoring game than I think a lot of people might think it might be a low scoring game. Give me the Commanders 42-38. It's going to be a freaking barn burner, guys. It's going to be a great end to Monday Night Football. Jaden Daniels is going to show up and remind everybody why he is so good. Ooh-wee. Not bad. Oh, Mr. Mike Sports Vibe. I will continue to talk that talk, brother, because you inspired me to do so. And you continue to inspire me, sir. So I'm going to continue to talk that talk. Thank you so much for tapping in with me. So that brings us to the end of those. And we got to get into figuring out these freaking, where are my power rankings? Hold on a sec. I have a tab open. Oh, there they are. Let's switch it up and bring in the power rankings. Cancel. Let me delete that one and bring in the power rankings sheet. Now, this one won't take as long, I believe, because here we go, the tier list maker. Let's transform that fit to screen. Let's bring that into space. There we go, guys. All right, so this is what the power rankings ended up being last week. Now, the first thing that I like to do is immediately pull down the teams that need to be heavily recalculated. So right off the bat, recalculate. Is there anything else? Even though they're in the top, I need to rethink and reanalyze them. I don't think, like I said last week, I feel like these three teams are interchangeable, and I still feel the same. So we'll figure out the proper position for them this week. And before I said when it was the Chiefs up there, I said these four teams also seem interchangeable to me, and I'm not surprised that it is the way it is. I can kind of make this assumption already. Let's bring down this team for reevaluation. Let's bring our Vikings, the Broncos, the Patriots. The Jaguars need a recalculation. Let's be real. They have definitely earned that. I'm going to put the Titans here because I want to reevaluate if they still fall into the lower bracket of the teams. Texans also need to be recalculated and moved around. This I can put at the very top of the bottom of the barrel. If they win again this week, I'm going to have to bring them up another tier, but let's see what we got here. So first and foremost, these Kansas City Chiefs. Where do we put these Chiefs? I feel like, do they earn a spot at the final 12 spot out of respect to what they've been able to do over the years? Or do we put them at the top at 13 of the next bracket, the mid tier, where they just need to prove themselves again? Because after these last couple of weeks, it's kind of hard to justify keeping them in the top 10. At the very least, the top 10. Maybe you can justify 11 or 12, so that's why I'm thinking maybe we can keep them up there. And I always like to keep I do like to do a top 12 instead of a top 10 because I like to remind those top 10 teams who's nipping at the butt and trying to steal their spot, right? You know what? We're going to put here the Rams at the 12. I think I'm going to give the Rams 12. San Fran's going to go up. Ooh. I have to do it. Better. Similar. All three of these, all three teams for me, these three, they're interchangeable. I would not be mad if Washington was first, and then San Fran, and then Seattle, or Seattle, San Fran. Any combination here, I would be happy with, and I think you guys would agree. Steelers have kind of earned their spot, and that's why they're staying here. Same with the Green Bay Packers. They haven't done anything. They were on a bye as well, so I'm not going to dock them for that. I feel like the Giants are going to hold the final spot here on the next tier. We got two more teams to move up to the top 12. Who they rightfully deserve it. And they deserve to be here. At the very least, if not higher. These four could be interchangeable right here. What do you guys think? Baltimore's got to come down a little bit. Chicago's got to go up. You guys can go for now. What do we do about these Colts, guys? I feel like they're the ones that get this top spot here. Let's put them there. I think they've earned that spot. I kind of feel bad that I haven't put them higher, but because I had to kind of, I've been kind of banking, not banking, but like, not weighing their wins as high because of the quality of teams. Like a lot of people are saying, are the Colts good or are they just beating bad teams, right? So I just feel like I can't deny them any longer, and they need to be where they belong. And I think that's around 4 is where they belong, man. They're just showing out, and much respect to you guys. Yeah, unbelievable. Now, oh, you know what? Put that there. I'm going to put the Vikings here. That there. Chiefs are going to go to top here. This is rough because this is the problem. I feel like these three teams have an argument for 12th. Let's do this. Let's do it that way. Broncos, man, you guys, your ups and downs, whatever. I'm not going to hold that against you like I don't hold it against my team. But I think they definitely have proven a little bit more than we have, and definitely more than the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to give them the 12th spot. I think that's fair. And I don't want to bring down the Steelers or the Packers yet because I feel like they haven't, like at least down to a whole tier. You know what? You know what? I feel like that's fair. What do you guys think? I think that's fair. We'll do a final once over to make sure we got all the teams in the right spot. Now we can safely put this team. I really considered putting. I was thinking, do I put them up here? Is it too early? This team is definitely here now. Same with the Texans. Need to bring one team up. Which team do I bring up? Cowboys? That's funny. They have been struggling as of late. I will agree. I feel like a little bit the injuries are definitely playing a factor to their inconsistency, but next man up, right? So that's why I'm not going to give them a ton of benefit of the doubt, but I can't put them in good conscience on the bottom tier. Are the Cowboys going to steal the? No, you know what? Let's put the Falcons up here. Let's be nice to the Falcons. The cow. So there we have it, guys. I think we've gotten to the point where we got the teams all in the right areas. Now let's make sure that the order's right. Now with these first three teams, again, I'm in no situation where I would feel very comfortable if it was literally any other combination. Honestly, I would be comfortable with literally any combination. But I'm going to leave it like these. These are essentially the three-way tie for the best teams in the league right now. Colts are up there. They definitely deserve. Their quality of opponents is what keeps them just outside of reach of the top three here. And after what I've seen from the Eagles, I feel like they deserve to kind of be ahead of the Eagles, even though I don't expect the Eagles to be falling for long. I wholeheartedly expect for them to, steamroll back to the top. What do you guys think? San Fran and see these three teams, I literally would not be upset of any combination. Like if I go here, not mad. If I go here, not mad. If I go here, I'm not mad. I like all three of these combinations, but what team deserves to be ahead of them all? Maybe like this? San Fran, Washington, Seattle, Jaguars, Broncos. You know what? I feel like, man, the top echelon of the NFL is looking really good. Holy moly, a lot of good teams. A lot of good teams, a lot of good defenses holding out. And then we're going to keep the Packers and the Steelers in the hunt to steal one of these top 10 spots at 11 and 12. My Vikings haven't earned enough. I don't think they've done a lot of great things, and I see the championship pedigree slowly starting to build. I see them playing like a playoff team. They find ways to win. They find ways to stay in, but they're still a little bit missing, and they haven't done enough to be able to justify moving them ahead into the top 12 yet. Even though I wanted to put them 12 there, and I did have them momentarily there, and then. Very similar with the Patriots. They're basically the same. Chiefs, the Chiefs freaking are as high. I feel like their history is what's kind of keeping them from me putting them that low. Wait, do I put the Texans up here or do I? Maybe I do this. Let me do that. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, you know what? Yeah, maybe we can recalculate the Saints. That's a good point. That's a really good point, John. That's a really good point. Thank you for giving me some clarity there. That you actually make a really valid point. Really valid point. And probably then, if we look at that, I feel like the Panthers are probably the best team out of these bottom teams. That says, I know that doesn't say that much, but yeah, I agree with you guys. The Cowboys are definitely better than the Saints. I think I like that. What do you guys think? I think we're in a good spot here. I think the top 12, I think the only thing that you could really argue about the top 12 is, shuffling some teams around, like the top 3, and then the next 3, and then the last 4 of the top 10. And then you could argue Green Bay and the Steelers could be alternated, but, they're coming off a bye, so I'm not going to heavily dock them. And then this middle tier is extremely hard to freaking pick, though, eh? It's so muddy right now. Any one of these teams can go on a bit of a winning streak and just kind of like prove a lot of people wrong. Don't do this. Now that the train of logic that I just realized, I was like, if I put the... What do you guys think? Does that look better? I think we're there. I think we're there. So there you guys have it. We got the Lions coming in, a strong, they're coming into their own, right? And them, the Bills, and the Bucks are definitely worthy of. I think anybody with a logical, reasonable mind can argue and make an extremely good point for why the Bucks should be number 1, why the Bills should be number 1, or the Lions should be number 1. Let's be real. And even some, and maybe not as strong of an argument, which I think that's the problem, is that there could be a good argument for the Colts to be up in that echelon as well, but it's just not as strong of an argument compared to the other 3. So that's why they take that 4th spot. And I don't want to move. I feel like the Colts are exactly where they should be right there. And then the rest of the teams can kind of be shuffled around here. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be upset. I feel like the top tier is pretty close. Pretty darn close. And my Vikings continue to stay in it, staying there, locking in right at 13. I speculate some more good things coming into the next part of the season. So there you guys have it. Those are the power rankings for week 5's games. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if you guys agree, what changes you would make. I would love to hear your opinion, because like I say, like, I'm going to steal something from Nick Wright, even though I don't really, I'm not a big fan, and I think he's pretty lame. But it's fluid, okay? It's fluid. So the fluidity, it can go up and down. So I would not be upset for anyone to give me a great argument why their team or which team should be moved up and down 1 or 2, especially in the top 12. Honestly, I feel like you got like. I think we're close. I think we're close to reality, and that's what I strive to do, is as close to reality as possible. I try to take the hype out of it. I try to take my bias out of it for sure. Because if it was me, if I was going to go biased, these Lions would be 10. I'm not going to lie, just because I'm not a fan. But I do see and try to respect everybody as much as I can, and try to be as objective as possible. Try to take out the optimism or the pessimism out and try to be as realistic as I can, especially when it comes to power rankings. And again, at the end, it's just more for fun, trying to kind of make sense of what's going on week to week here. So that way, when we look back at this later on and we go, man, these were the best teams after 5 weeks, So there we go. So again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, so if you don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'm going to be going live every single day, roughly around 4 p.m. Eastern. I think that's been the time that I'm more consistently able to make. I try to find and try to do kind of like a mismatch of kind of time that I started, but it wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. So we're locking in around between 3 and 4:30, depending on work and how much I finish. I'm still wearing the polo from this morning. I had to You know, whenever I'm in the Detroit area, I definitely don't wear my Vikings gear. I try to not ruffle feathers unless it's Vikings Lions week, and then at that point I have to represent. I don't care what comes my way, even though it can be a little bit dangerous, but I don't care. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love every single one of you. Don't forget to hit and like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, guys.